We're on. We'll call the meeting to order. If you can take the roll call.
Bellicrelli, Lasky, Shireman, Hutchinson,
Here.
Ponick,
Here.
Belter,
Here.
Meagrauer.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. First up, approve September 20, 2023 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion at all? Seeing none, take the roll on that.
Sure. Hutchinson,
Aye.
Ponick,
Aye.
Belter,
Aye.
Meagrauer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We'll skip number 3. We'll hold that over to the next meeting. We'll welcome her then.
Sounds good.
I'd like to make a motion to go into closed session to discuss everything written in this paragraph.
Okay,
Second.
okay.
Discussion? We'll take the roll.
Hutchinson,
Aye.
Ponick,
Aye.
Belter,
Aye.
Meagrauer.
Aye.
We're now in closed session.
Good.
I'll move approval of 24-01, approve spotlight designation for 1203 Oshkosh Avenue.
So actually, first it's a public hearing. That one is.
24-02.
Yeah.
Well, one.
Oh, and
Yep, I gotta do the public hearing first. So 2401, public hearing to approve spotlight designation 1203 Oshkosh Ave. That's the first reading. Second reading for public hearing. And then third reading for a public hearing on 2401, spotlight designation for 1203 Oshkosh Ave. We have no one here, so public hearing's closed. Now we can go into 2402 if I can get a motion.
I'd like to move to approve 24-02, approve acquisition of property at 1203 Oshkosh Avenue for $85,000.
Are we doing 2402 or 2401?
2402.
Okay.
Second.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
We have to
Yep.
approve the split.
We closed the public hearing.
Yep, my apologies. I said it wrong.
Okay.
Yes, 2401. Now we need to approve the spotlight designation for 1203 Oshkosh Ave. That's my error.
Okay.
So I need a motion and a second.
Well, I'd like to.
There we go. Now you can.
Your time to charm.
Yeah, First meeting of the year.
1203 Oshkosh Avenue.
Perfect.
Second.
Okay.
Any discussion on the spotlight designation for 1203 Oshkosh Ave?
It's blighted.
we need it.
Take the roll. Yep,
Sure.
we'll take the roll.
Hutchinson,
Aye.
Ponick,
Aye.
Belter,
All right.
Meagrauer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Now we're on to 2402, approve acquisition.
24-02, approve acquisition of property at 1203 Oshkosh Avenue for $85,000.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, please take the roll.
Hutchinson,
Aye.
Ponick,
Aye.
Belter,
Aye.
Meagrauer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, 2403, approve granting an easement to Wisconsin Public Service for Mill on Main LLC development.
I'm done with motions.
It's a long one.
Want to do a motion?
Yeah, hang on, I gotta get there.
I would make a motion to approve 2403, approve granting an easement to Wisconsin Public Service for Mill on Main LLC development.
Second.
Any discussion?
It looks like it just follows the new road, right?
Yeah, I can give a little bit more. This is just service to their specific buildings. So we've been working with WPS and Mill on Main, of course, because eventually they're going to own the property. So we want to make sure that they are they find the terms of the easement document acceptable. So this is going to service all the different phases and hopefully kind of get them set up, ready to go, so they can WPS can put the work order in to make sure everything is there when they want to start construction this spring.
You said eventually.
But that's gonna be in her report.
Yeah, I saw
No.
that.
Okay.
What's that question?
I was reading ahead. So somewhere close to this is where that parking lot is.
It's actually on the east side where it says lot 1, lot 2, kind of where it curves a little bit as you're heading towards Pioneer. That's where the city parking lot will be, and our engineers are working on designing that, and we'll put that in with one of our contracts for 2024 here,
Okay.
our parking lot projects.
Yeah, I needed to get my bearings.
Yeah,
Got it, Sue?
I got it. Yeah. I'm looking at that big map from before.
There's no other discussion. Take the roll on approval.
Okay. Hutchinson,
Aye.
Ponik,
Aye.
Belter,
Aye.
McGrower.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up, discussion on RDA land option terms, commercial and infill.
Sure. This is something that we've had a little bit of conversation about, but in the past couple months, the last quarter of 2023, I think that from a staff perspective, it's something we want to talk about a little bit. We have quite a few different options or an approved offer to purchase. You can see all of the infill residential, and then we, of course, have some that are commercial and multifamily. And these are all RDA properties where, a developer or somebody came in and said, I would like an option to purchase, an offer to purchase. And typically we enter into an agreement with them, and RDA gives us the terms as far as what they would like to see for, when they would close by, and sometimes we work through that. But what we are seeing is some of these are just sitting. And, for the infill residential, there's some situations like the former railroad right-of-way on 9th Ave with gallery homes. That's not their fault. It's an ATC issue that we're trying to work through. So, there's Neighbor Works. They're really slowly moving forward, and it's something that John Zarati in our office and Jeff Whitty and Mark have been, talking about a little bit. We want to encourage folks, if they're not going to build on it, can we, and none of these have been sold. I guess I'll put that. None of these are sold. These are still owned by the RDA. So, John, you want to share a little bit about your kind of communications and what you've been talking?
And just to kind of familiarize you with this, this was last summer. We had a special meeting. Gallery Homes and Redevelopment came in. They kind of pitched the houses they were going to do. And because we had the multiple offers, we decided to make up a thing and bring it to you to decide who gets what lot. And so these are lots that they were awarded, along with a lot on Jefferson Street, which is currently being built on, and a lot on Wisconsin, which is also being built on right now.
And I'll show some pictures of
Yeah,
that.
by both builders. So they are working, it's just that they're working on the other lots that they acquired and purchased from us. And so what they said is, we want to do these, we still want the lot, but we want to see how this goes. I think the other thing that they're doing is they're looking at the, what do we call that, the loan that we give out?
New homes in your
New homes in the neighborhood, so that they will get the, money back after they complete that home, if they enter that.
And we only let them do one a year.
Yeah.
So us thinking that, they would be working on multiple homes at once, in the same area, and just to kind of keep crews going back and forth, it's not really going that direction. They're just doing one at a time, which is fine. But in the meantime, then some of these lots, we still own them, and they're just staying vacant. And we haven't had tons of people reaching out to us to build on these. But it's just one of those things looking forward, and we'll talk about the commercial multifamily in a minute. Is it something from an RDA perspective we want to be more in tune with that, and something to pay more close attention to address when we have these agreements with folks?
Yeah, and maybe put more of a time limit. I mean, I think it was discussed possibly at that special meeting, but then we just like, well, no one else is really after them, kind of like they really aren't now. But is it also because maybe we have, offer pending on our website? So, we still tend to get calls, and if there is an offer on those, well, how long do we let those offers go? Because maybe someone else does want to come in and build right away.
There was some angst from the people who didn't get chosen to purchase those lots, or are those lots being worked on? I can't remember which ones they were.
As far as the infill residential,
Remember there are 2 or 3 bids on.
Well, it was it's Vianola and Gallery Homes, and both are sitting on lots they were awarded.
Right, so the people who did get awarded, aren't they a little anxious about that, or were?
no, everybody was awarded.
Okay, everybody got
Yeah, everybody got.
Okay, then,
Well, everybody got some
Something.
lots.
Right.
Yeah.
And none of them, outside of a few couple, have either party
Right. Okay.
started working on it.
Okay.
So, I mean,
So
it's,
to get that grant, if they start it 1 year, does it have to be completed that year to get the grant, or just started that year?
No.
the grant is not awarded till the home is completed. The home must be completely done, driveway in, lawn seeded to be eligible.
We want to make
for the
sure it's
grant.
totally completed.
Okay.
But they can only get one of those grants.
They can only get one a year because we only fund that
Yeah.
program to the tune of like either 50 or 75,000 a year. We don't have
So
a ton of money that's in that program.
Yeah.
So we can't be having, 3 or 4 a year.
Right, so my point is that if they complete the home this year now,
Okay.
2024, they might not even get to the next home until 2025, so that they could do it again, or 2026.
I mean, they could
So-
start it in 2025,
But-
or 2024 and get it maybe in 2025,
Right.
depending how long it takes, I don't.
Yeah.
But it's just something that,
For gallery, it could go for 3 years.
yeah, I mean, but then it's, if we get interest from other folks that are interested in these properties, what,
These were offer to purchases, right? These were signed offers.
yes.
No, they were just options.
They were
Options,
They were
okay,
gonna-
options,
Yeah,
okay.
we made up that application to bring
Yep.
it forward to you
Yep.
guys, to decide who gets what. And then we don't have any offer to purchase with any kind of timeline in them.
Okay, so but the options have a expiration date.
Right.
Yeah, they had a term in them. I don't remember what it was.
But
I
that's-
know we typically just extended those.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a good faith effort.
But
yeah.
I looked on some of these and I couldn't find that we made the, whatever the deadline was.
Okay, well, we can certainly
Yeah.
take a look at these particular, but if we shift down to commercial multifamily, this is another one. We've had quite a few conversations about the Boatworks and former sanitation garage. Chuck Wiesenberg and Tim Hess, they received approval, I think it was back in 2021 for this. And they've slowly kind of been going through the process of getting zoning approvals. And probably maybe every 2 to 3 months, they submit site plans to, try to get the approvals. They just submitted one in early January and they, staff got comments back. So technically the option for the Boatworks property is expired. Obviously they're making good faith effort where they're coming forward, submitting site plans, and John did reach out to them and they did indicate they want to start this spring. They did also say that they would like TIF assistance too, but they have not come to council, or they did come to council, but they haven't come back with any requested terms, so we haven't had a closed session with council. And then they had indicated that the sanitation garage is still up on the western property. The option that, since it was city-owned, that one went through plan commission and council. That was approved, but that one again, it's expired, and they said they want the building down first, and then they're gonna do their phase 2. So we are planning, we have an awarded bid to get the building down. It'll probably happen this winter, this spring. But I guess my question is, how long do we keep these options open? Obviously, or make them come in for a formal request to extend it. Staff has kind of used our best judgment if they are making an effort, but at what point does RDA members want to talk to these developers and see? And then for the Mill on Main, the 43 7th and then north of East 9th Ave, council did approve the TIF development agreement, which has a lot of our RDA terms in it for the option on the property too, for them to start construction by the end of March of 2024. So I have reached out to them about last week just to kind of try to see where they're at, and I haven't heard back yet. But again, those are other ones where we just want to make sure that we want to give people ample time to do the due diligence, to do what they need to do to get done, but at the same time, if they're not going to build on it, do we want that tied up? So that's just kind of just a discussion that staff wanted to have with everybody today to see what everybody's thoughts were.
Well, if on the website, we said that if the website says an offer pending, unless you're really interested in it, would you even approach the city? Probably not. So we don't know.
That's my concern.
Yeah, we don't know how many people might be interested.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, with these lots, the infill lots, it's a very niche market. It's a very niche builder, I think, too. They depend heavily on, our new homes in the neighborhood, just because, for building a new home and then in the neighborhood they have to make sure that they can make their money back. And that's where I think sometimes there's a struggle.
Where do the grants come from for that fund, the $75,000?
It's H&I funded.
That's when we have our tax incremental districts, we're allowed per state statutes to keep them open 1 year longer, and that's the affordable housing clause. So that we started that fund when we could, when the state started allowing us. So that's kind of the
So
pool of money.
there's not additional money available to put towards?
No, but we do work with them if they have potentially a tenant or a home buyer who could get, use CDBG, a down payment assistance. So we try to help them, stack the capital stack to try to, make it affordable for folks. A lot of times the utilities are in there already, so they're not paying for that. It's more or less just the lot to build on. But just with the size limitations a lot, you're for sure a lot of times building up and, so.
Was Habitat at the meetings when we decided this? Was that meeting?
Yep,
Second
Tom
floor
was,
maybe?
and obviously we work with Habitat all the
Yeah.
time. There's a lot of RDA homes and lots that Habitat buys. Right now, a lot of their homes are being built on Grove Street, where we had all those lots, because it's a very nice area
Yeah.
near the park and everything, but eventually they've been picking up a few of our properties here and there, because those will be built on soon, and they have a pool of different parcels for folks to choose from.
I don't like when there are 5 competing responses to the RFP. We award it, and the 4 losers got nothing, and they watched nothing happen for 2 years on a parcel and say, well, we would have been done by now contributing to your tax base. So, similar to my question on the infills, it's like, well, there's somebody behind me and I don't do anything. I expect him to take my project over. But meanwhile, I've also spent a lot of money looking at my project, so I'm not sure how to define it, but there should be some timeline or a re-RFP or something that reaffirms they're gonna do something with a set time limit.
I think one of the things I talked about before though was like, there could be some benchmarks of, waiving the environmental, right? So have they done all the environmentals, and have they waived all the any environmental contingencies to purchase the property?
Yeah, so are you
So-
asking specifically about?
Well,
Okay,
maybe not
okay.
that, but I guess what I'm saying is we could set up those kind of benchmarks, right? You have environmental, you have survey, you have geotechnical. They would have to get, so much done within a, 60-day period of time, 90-day period of time, and you could keep step in. I've signed those kind of agreements with people, right? Where if I don't have this done, then my offer is no longer valid, or my option, and it goes away. So, and it shows a level of commitment when you actually have to start spending the money. So there would be environmental, geotechnical surveys,
And a financing proposal, not a commitment, but a
Right.
proposal to finance the project
Right.
as presented.
And if you haven't done that, then, and it's just a matter of, well, we've got other things that are, we know that you guys aren't gonna push us on it, so we're gonna focus on this building or that, or this other project. Right. So I think that's one way just to keep people's feet to the fire. It has to happen for me too,
Right.
So everybody does it.
And we really did implement that with the Commonwealth agreement, the term sheet. I think RDA, when we had that meeting, you gave us those timeframes, and we did incorporate that in there. So there's all these checks and balances, dates in there that they have to follow. So I think moving forward, that's something that I think we are going to be more in tune to doing. But we do have a few here that haven't. So like I said, the Mill on Main environmental is done. WPS, I mean, that's kind of one of the last things. Building, zoning, they're done. So, and then obviously, we do have that extension that was approved, but in theory, it should be this spring. Boat Works, like I said, there's still some, I guess I'd call them looser ends that haven't been worked through. So, we're willing to listen to whatever the RDA would like. If you'd like to talk to the developers again and kind of a check-in, or if it's more or less just let's let them go and see what happens, we're open to whatever you would
Have you ever
prefer.
looked at the financing proposals to see what contingencies are in there, to see if they're realistic financing proposals? I think we have in the past.
To a
long
certain
time ago.
extent, yeah, we get into it a little bit. sometimes it's so early in the process, they don't have every single dollar, you know, like you talked about the due diligence, and we have heard specifically from multifamily, there's been a lot of changes in kind of the lending environment for multifamily, and it's kind of been a moving target. We're hearing it might be going the right direction with some, you know, the rates going down, but I think projects have changed a little bit, you know, in the past 1 or 2 years that folks thought would be a little easier, maybe not more difficult.
You don't agree with Chairman Powell?
Well, I'm just saying what we're hearing from folks, so.
Nobody knows.
So I would say that if we're not seeing movement, let's say by summer, we call them in.
And our next meeting is March 20th. That's our next RDA meeting. And then, of course, we do have one in May.
So maybe the May is a good one.
So that's kind of your time frame. And then we can always have a special meeting.
Yeah,
That's
but
not
I
the
guess
time.
what is movement? Right? I mean, it's updated plans that come in and say, oh, well, we're, you know, I think it has to be more of, you know, a financing proposal that's, you know, ready to go. It's gotta be that they're ready to sign an offer without any contingencies and close by such and such date. And if it's,
I mean, these are large projects. The two commercial ones, the infill ones are, also happen. So we can individually look at the large projects and take 10 minutes and give them 6 months or 6 days if we don't like it. I mean, because if we do a blanket policy, they are, you know, Boatworks is way different from Mill on Main. So
Everyone's,
it's hard
very,
to make a blanket
it's not a
policy.
cookie color, and we understand that, but we're just kind of in the situation where staff feels we have quite a few that are just kind of being stalled right now. So that's why we wanted to talk about it.
We're coming out of 4 bad things with construction costs, interest rates, pandemic, supply chain, and all of a sudden you're gonna hold their feet to the fire. That's not fair either, so.
Trying to find a balancing act.
Absolutely.
So at least now I think just do individually on the ones we have pending, and
Okay.
we'll talk about it, if not in March, at least in May.
So,
If we need them in here in March.
I think.
No, I don't think we need in March.
But maybe for the March meeting, you know, staff is doing their check-in, hey.
The progress
our-
update.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
meeting in March, RDA would like a little bit of an update, can you give me something?
Yeah.
And at that point, seeing what the something is,
Right.
we then give further direction for May.
For me, yeah.
You can say, can you give me a little more?
You know, just, they are, you know, we're asking, we're interested, we wanna make sure that they are moving. Our options are limited, but we wanna make sure that, you know, we do know it's important to us.
okay, we can certainly do that. Okay.
Carrot approach before stick.
Yep, we agree. Just wanted to make you aware.
Well, there's the election before May, so, different people. School board member.
All right, if that's it on that one, we move to the executive director report.
Yeah, so John mentioned this, but Gallery Homes is working on that Wisconsin Street infill project, and it's looking really good. So we have a picture of the house, and then of course in the back where we talked about the garage with the accessory dwelling unit on the upper floors. So it's pretty exciting to see it coming forward, and you know, they're moving right along. And then I just, since we didn't meet in November, I wasn't able to share this, but obviously we have, all the plans have gone through city council for approval for the Theta Care Freighter, we're calling them the Aligned project. So we're excited to see that coming through and having them move forward. We're actively working with them right now. They want to get started soon. So they would like to be open in 2025. So it's really exciting to see that project finally going forward. And of course, they also are doing something similar in Fond du Lac also.
And it's nice because the signs are up, so you're starting to see
A
something.
little, yeah, a little movement, and so, so yeah, we're very excited about it as well.
Myron got that
Can
contract.
we move the dirt pile?
Nope, they're
But
probably.
they-
They'll be used, they're using that on
Okay.
site.
But they
Yeah.
cut the
Yep.
vegetation.
Yeah,
Yep.
they did.
They're allowed
Yeah.
it.
So so the dirt pile in theory should be this
And then-
winter, spring should be going down because they're gonna be using that to fill the
Myron
site.
got that one too?
Yeah,
Myron
got
is
that
the
one.
general, correct.
Interesting conversation, a friend of mine that lives out on Fifth
Okay.
said that this summer, this guy was walking the property, and so she went over she's kind of in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And she went over and she started chatting with him, and then he started saying that they needed to do something, and she goes, yeah, you need to cut this and all this. And then he said something about their property line. She goes, no, actually, you go all the way to here. And so she was kind of telling him where they needed to.
We worked a lot
Yeah.
with their contractors, so I think we finally got them on the right page, but our code enforcement officer actually went out there very frequently.
Yeah.
We sent, yes, so it's looking much better if you haven't been out there.
It looks great.
And hopefully, come spring and summer, when more people will be driving by on their boats, it will, you'll see something under construction there.
That hill of dirt though reminds me of
The gravel, yeah.
Gravel, it reminds me of the Prudential Rock.
Oh.
We have our
Carve that
own.
out there,
Yeah,
right?
we have our own.
And then, just to kind of, I guess, go back to the update I gave you in here, I did want to mention the West 8th Avenue property, that's between 7th and 8th. We had a lot of interest in that, so much so where we kind of sent out an RFP and said, okay, submit, this information, and then nobody submitted. So it was just one of those kind of weird things. There's still some people out there that may come back, but
We had 4 people 2 years ago.
yeah, and we had about 4 people before, and we gave them the dates, and we said, have it to us, and nobody submitted, so, it's just one of those things, so. And then, another one I just wanted to briefly mention is the South Main Street reconstruction. Obviously, as RDA, we've been inquiring in the Sawdust District, it's always been talked about that we would be widening South Main Street, to add a terrace and, potentially a parking on the street. So we were going to be working with the DOT because it's part of the Connecting Highways program, and they have since indicated that they would only pay for like the rehab reconstruction of what actually needs to be updated. So city staff is working. We still would like to do it the right way. We want to expand it. We've been dedicating the right of way. We want to put sidewalks in and terraces and make it a more pedestrian friendly and safe area, but it's one of those that they definitely kind of changed the tune, and we're going to have to pivot and try to figure out how we can make it work, but we certainly will. That project isn't planned until after the Jackson Street Oregon bridge is done, so it probably will be early 2030s.
2030.
Yep.
Where does that start? Is that from like?
It starts the Fox River all the way down to, I believe, 14th or 12th. Doesn't go all the way down to there, but down, it goes pretty far south, past South Park and everything. So 12th is sticking out in my head, but. And then the other one I did want to mention is Merge. We had been working with them quite a bit. Obviously on Parcel J, that's the parcel on the corner of Marion and Jackson, right on the Fox River there. They have their Maxon Corners, beautiful walkout units, apartments that they have there. And it was always the plan then, on the east side of that parcel, they would do a mixed use building. So it'd be that commercial on the first floor and then residential multifamily on the upper floors. They've indicated that they're struggling a bit to put together a building that they feel will be successful, especially with the commercial, because of the location and the type of the bridge that is going to be reconstructed in 28, 29. We are working with them on amending their TIF development agreement because they want to extend it. And from a staffing perspective, we've always wanted a mixed use on that corner on the water. They also own the parcel south of the water tower there, and at a time they were just going to do like townhomes and then kind of have the back as parking, like an overflow parking for the mixed use area. So they're kind of looking at all options. So staff is trying to set up a call with them to try to figure out exactly kind of what direction they're looking, and then obviously we'll be working with council and RDA on that. We don't own the properties. They bought them as is. We didn't do anything with environmental. So they do own them. So we really don't have anything, it's just more of keeping everybody in the loop from an RDA perspective. But staff is still really going to push to make sure that we get a mixed use over there, because that's what we've always wanted for years and years, even before merge came, when RDA was trying to sell those parcels.
I'm trying to figure out why they're having such a big concern with the new bridge, considering, their development ended at the sidewalk anyways, and we're not going beyond the sidewalk.
We are not.
We're getting closer, but we're not close.
We're getting closer, but I'd say it might be going halfway towards the sidewalk, give or take. But obviously the river walk will be going underneath the bridge. And then there's also going to be a staircase that will go down kind of halfway, kind of probably where that connection is with the sidewalk to Jackson. There'd be a staircase from the bridge down, and then of course all the way down, for ADA compliance that would wrap back around. They just said that, with the approach having to start at Marion, you have this wall right here, and it's hard to picture when you maybe haven't seen one before, but
They exist.
we're trying to work with them to come up with different ideas, even if moving more of the commercial, more on Marion and then on the river, and maybe it's different, the residential uses where the wall is, the approach might be the tallest. So we're trying to come up with different solutions.
And this one, so council had concern with the TIF for this, because it was three-phased.
It is three-phased.
And it was intended as three-phase, and because of the parking, because we knew the second phase, which was the part on Jackson there at Marion and Jackson, that part was gonna be parking deficient.
Correct.
And in order to help facilitate phase 3 actually getting completed and creating all that parking that they need, if I remember correctly, the TIF number, it was an increasing, it was a escalating TIF as they completed a phase.
There's incentive to get
it was
all
incentivized,
phases
actually.
done.
It wasn't just flat across the board.
Correct.
It was, so.
And then there's deadlines, dates in there
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
And then kind of a minimum amount that would be invested in those projects.
Okay.
So that's something, we are looking at and trying to work with them, because obviously we want to see the remainder of that site developed, and of course the site by the water tower too. But just wanted to give folks an update on that one.
Any other questions on her update? If none, we can take the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
I-
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.